with short sales, and we catch up a little bit because they're, two of their big offices are right down the street from mine, and so but they're just sitting there. They're is it lunch yet? Is it lunch yet? They don't want to do these deals. They're just there, just collecting their check and moving on with the day. So you got to motivate them. You got to say, hey, look, get this done. Why haven't you reviewed this? Where's your manager? Who's your manager? What's their name? Let me talk to them. Should I talk to them for you? Do you need me to encourage you? They don't like me. So, and obviously, if you have a foreclosure sale that you want to follow up quite a bit more, sometimes we'll, if we have a deal that we get and there's a foreclosure sale date in a day or two, we'll call 3 times in a day. We'll talk to, look, you call 3 times in one day, you talk to 3 different people, guess what? You're going to get 3 different answers, because don't even get me started. So I got we got snowflakes up here because every short sale is its own different, unique snowflake. They're all unique to one another, and I've been talking about that, and I wish that there was one way to put it all in a nice tidy box for you and explain to you how to do it. But the beauty of it is whether you want to work with us or not, give me a call. Over the years I've learned to become a problem solver, and I will say one of the cool things about getting into the real estate world via short sales and loan mods, because that's I graduated college and I came out into the workforce, and well, guess what? The market wasn't that great. So you gotta get in where you can. And so this is where I landed, and but it's taught me that not all deals are layups. They're not always going to be easy, and sometimes some of the most rewarding deals that you're going to do are the most complicated deals. I'll tell you, there's nothing like closing a deal with 20 liens on it that everyone told you that you can't do. So and they all they all pay the same. So but anyways, if you ever want to talk about a deal, if you ever want to just go over some stuff, give me a call. I'm happy to talk about it. Come to the back. I'm happy to talk to you about it. However I can be of assistance, let me know. And then this is the final thing. So, as a real estate agent, you guys, I think that it's just, it doesn't really make sense for you. So even the properties that we do on our own, obviously we hire ourselves. We're not going to have the listing agent in our office go and be making these calls to the banks and do this. And your job is to get out there and be knocking on doors if that's what you're into, be putting labels on doors, going out there and getting more listings, because that's the way that your time is better served. All right, your time isn't better served sitting on the phone for an hour making frustrating phone calls, trying to sort out these short sale packages and figure out what's right and what you need and what you don't need. You need to get out there and grow your business and get more listings, and that's what I see. The most successful agents that I work with. I don't know how they do it, like Al and Marianne and Eric and those guys. It's just, but they're every time we close one, it's like a revolving door. There's always, and that's because they're not jerking around with, these little things. They're out, beating the pavement and getting new deals. And so anyways, yeah, do you have a question?
What do you charge for handling a short sale?
Oh, good question. So the way that we charge is kind of cool. So most of the time, so what we do is we have you guys fill out a referral fee agreement. And this referral fee agreement says that when we close your transaction, that you're going to pay us 25% of your gross listing side commission. So 25%, we always recommend you do 3.5, 2.5 split. We like 95% of the time we get 6% approved by the bank. But about 72% of the time, I'm able to get my fee paid elsewhere, generally by the bank. In this scenario, if I'm able to get my fee paid, then you're off the hook. So in that scenario, almost 3 out of 4 deals that I do, the statistic might even be better now, but almost 3 out of 4 deals that I do, it's free to the agent. So it's like you negotiated the deal yourself. You don't have to pay anything. So Al, how many deals? What do you think the statistics are? Shoot. We've done, a few dozen deals. We might have charged a couple times. So
maybe a couple times.
Yeah.
If it's another, do you have a certain title or escrow companies that you use, or?
Yeah. So we work with. I don't know if any of you guys got the pleasure to meet Jordan back there, but Jordan handles all of our short sales, And those guys, we work really well with them because it's just like, hey, give me this. You know, the problem with working with outside escrow companies is that, you know, it becomes a training process and we get to teach them how to do short sales. Well, we're trying to do it ourselves. So generally it's a little bit easier to use them, but I've never passed up a deal over an escrow. So.
What about other states?
Other states, I have, so like in Nevada, I have someone that I think actually Barbara might have referred me to her, and I use her on all the deals that I do out here now. And yeah, so I use Mandy at National Title. I give her a little plug here, and she's been great for us, all the Nevada deals that I've done for the past few years. We have a couple guys in Florida, we have Arizona, and generally we just try to stay with a group because the escrow it's a little more complicated, and rather than having to retrain each escrow officer that we work with, we have someone that understands the process, and it's much more smooth. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, who do you use in Florida?
I use a guy named Eric at Marlin Title, and I have another guy that I just started working with that's in a different part of the state. Are you? Oh, you're the Florida guy.
St. Pete.
Okay, yeah, I got you. Yeah, if you have someone out there, I'm not as as solid in Florida as I am in most other states as far as escrow goes. So if you have someone, I'm open to recommendations. Okay. Anyone have any questions?
Question. Do they let you double in?
Yeah, it used to be a lot tougher. They would generally always want to cut the commission down to 5%, sometimes even 4%. But what I found is that it's not a problem to double end them anymore. It's the lenders that are going to cut commission are going to cut commission whether it's double ended or not. So the short answer to that question is yeah, it's no problem to double end, and we generally almost always get 6% on those also.
Relocation allowances, what do you get for those now without HOPA?
So what my dad was saying is that we've actually been getting a lot of $10,000 relocation still, and the reason is because I ask for it, and I'll always ask for $10,000. I ask for it on every single deal, and I wait for them to say no. So I don't. When I submit a HUD, I ask for everything. I want you to pay this, I want you to pay that, I want 10 grand relocation, I want you to pay my fee, I want you. Everything. We always leave room for negotiation. So we ask for the whole lot, and then we let them whittle it down from there. So it really depends on the lender. Like Fannie Mae gives us $3,000, pretty. They're pretty common. And then other banks we're still able to get $10,000 out of them, but that is dwindling. So now that HOF is out, Barbara.
David mentioned before about loan modification and then doing a short sale. Some of the banks are not.
Okay.
Which ones have you noticed better doing?
So
not letting them short sale?
Certain government programs require you to do what's called a waterfall program, and what that is they require you. So they want to retain those assets, and they want you to pay on them. They don't want to liquidate them and get rid of them. So what they require you to do is go through the loan modification process out the gate. So they won't just review for short sale. So if you submit a short sale package, they say, you're going to loan mod. And then they give you a loan mod. And it's a little bit different. It's not a loan mod like, what you may be thinking. It's more like a loan restructuring almost. And that's where he was saying that these payments are coming back high, and people are saying, I can't afford them, because they just, it's not like they're reducing the interest rate and re-amortizing over 30 years and your payment's way more affordable, and that's not the way that they're doing it. And so a lot of these people can't pay it, and in those circumstances, and we've been seeing that a lot more recently, we actually have to accept the loan mod. If the seller can't make the payment, then they don't. We can't tell them to make the payment or not. I would never do that. That falls along the lines of legal advice. But if they can't make the payment, then so be it. And then at that point, we resubmit them for short sale after they've shown that they're unable to make that payment, and we're usually able to get a review for that. That's if they get approved. Sometimes they get denied for the loan mod, and it goes directly into short sale.
But what have you noticed? Particular bank that's doing that more, or are you just kind of
so you got to remember there's two layers. So you're going to have an investor, and then you're going to have your servicer. So the servicer is just like the face that you're dealing with, and most of them have outside servicers. So but yeah, generally it's government loans, but it's it doesn't fall under any specific servicer. Okay. I'll go here and then over here.
How far underwater do you have to be to make a decent short sale?
Well, the The way that we do it is we say we let the lender figure it out. So if you can run a net sheet. I'm sure you're able to run a net sheet. I don't know if you have a proprietary one. Your title escrow maybe have one, but you can run rough numbers and see what you're looking at after closing costs, commissions, and so on and so forth. But generally, what we always do, if it's pretty marginal, is we just submit the package to the lender, and the lender always tells us, hey, it's short, hey, it's not, this is what we want. Because what's going to happen is they're going to run their BPO, and then they're going to run their value against the closing costs, against, I guess their value against the closing costs, and against their payoff, and then they're going to say this is either short or you need to pay it off in full. And at that point, then you can, move accordingly.
Just to follow up, you mentioned before that heard something about a probate short sale. In a case like that, is there any incentive you can offer the family to
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Okay. We make it. I mean, that's why I'm saying you try to wrap your head on it. Why in the earth would someone want to short sale a house?
Right.
That's in probate. So you figure it out. You make it work for people. So yeah, there's ways to incentivize people. Absolutely. So if it's the difference of getting the deal done or not, we get it done.
What are amounts that are being paid from the first lender to the second TDs nowadays, whether it's an amount or whether it's a percentage anymore?
You're saying first payoff to second payoff?
Yeah.
What you're generally seeing? So what you're generally seeing is the first payoff is going to take every single penny that they can, and the second, depending on the program, is going to get anywhere between like 8% of their unpaid principal balance up to $12,000, and we're seeing the $12,000 kind of fall by the wayside. I have one right now where the first is approving like $25,000 to the second because it's at 10% of their unpaid principal balance. So it's back to the snowflake picture. They're all different. It varies on a case by case basis. But if it's I can tell you if it's Fannie Mae, which like I said is half or more of the deals that you're going to see, it's $6,000.
Do you put a negotiation fee in for your payment typically, or how do you get paid?
Yeah. So there's about 150 different ways that I can get paid. The best way is that I can get paid on the seller side of the HUD, and we do ask for it. Like I said, I asked for the $12,000 the $10,000 relocation for the seller on the initial HUD. I also asked the bank to pay my fee, and it does get approved, believe it or not. So,
Are you seeing more lenders requiring a short sale to go to auction before they consider your offer?
No, NationStar does that. Yeah, it's just NationStar primarily, and even NationStar, I know a way to get out of it too. So, but there's ways to get it done with or without auction. But it's only NationStar, and they don't do it every single time. Let me go to Al real quick.
I want to endorse for everybody to understand the purpose of why we're here and why we would go through a short sale and why we would let HLI handle a transaction. They have taught us to take, and this everybody will understand this portion because this is why we're in the business. They've taken our commissions on it per transaction from 3% up to as high as 8% per transaction.
Wow.
So dinner tonight?
We're very ever have a 3% commission on a transaction. And I mean that's what everybody here understands, and I just wanted to make sure that they understand through that negotiation how that evolves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you learn to be creative and get it done. Go ahead.
I'll even take it a little further. So, because earlier you said you only have some options. Well, the last one we did, I'm all the way up to about 12% of the initial purchase price of the house now. And they helped me negotiate a price reduction with the bank. So we didn't even have to accept the amount that the bank came back with. We were able to actually lower it by over $50,000.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, case by case. There's some of them are going to end up a lot better than others, and it just depends. You kind of just you see what the bank hands you and you go with it.
What's the average turnaround time, and also do they pay for the HOA fee?
Okay, so it depends. So where do you live?
San Francisco area.
San Francisco. So California is not a super lean state, so it's a little bit harder. So like my man in Florida right here, Generally, I can get them to pay like 12 months in HOA. In California,